Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the English podcast with Dr. Maqsood Azeemi, which was held on 10th October 2025. Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into some profound insights from Dr. Maqsood Azeemi. This is based on his discussion from October 10th, 2025. Dr. Saab shared some material that honestly feels like a spiritual roadmap. It connects these huge universal laws right down to the choices, the small choices we make every day.
It really is remarkable stuff he shared. Very deep. But for this deep dive, what we've done is synthesize his analysis around 5 key pillars. Pillars of spiritual and social understanding. These topics are, first, Sood or Janka Qurani Mafhum, that's the Quranic concept of usury and war. Then, Mashre min Dakal Anadazik Asrat, the effects of interference in society, a big one. Third, Kainat Kawahid Nizam, the singular system of the universe. Think cosmic scale here. Fourth, Ihsan Farawash Logan Karawaya, dealing with the behavior of ungrateful people, something we all encounter, right? And finally, Lafsa Idaka Rohani Pelu, the spiritual aspect of perception itself, how we understand things.
Wow. Yeah, that list alone tells you we're aiming high today, connecting, like you said, personal stuff right up to the cosmic level. So let's start with maybe one of the most challenging and maybe misunderstood spiritual issues today, riba, usury. Dr. Saab explained why the Quran literally calls involvement in riba a state of war against Allah. I mean, that's incredibly strong language for what looks like just a financial transaction. Why? Why this specific act?
Well, Dr. Saab, he really just stripped away all the complexity. He went straight to the core definition. Think about it like this. You lend, say, 1 lakh rupees, okay, and you charge 5,000 extra on top when it's repaid. Now, that 1 lakh, that's the principal. SR, it has to be returned. That's just paying back the loan. But that extra 5,000, what is it for? That was the crucial question Dr. Saab posed. What are you actually charging the debtor for with that extra amount?
Okay, right. You're not charging for the money itself because that's being returned. So you must be charging for the duration, the time the money was gone.
Precisely. You got it.
Yeah.
And that is the spiritual landmine, so to speak. Dr. Saab emphasized that time, waq, or dahar as it's called, it's not some commodity you own or can trade. It's actually an attribute of the divine. He cited that profound sacred saying where Allah states, Latabus dar, falahad dar, basically, do not curse time, for I am time.
Okay. So the state of war, it's because when you engage in riba, you're essentially trying to sell something that fundamentally isn't yours. You're profiting from the creator's own attribute, time itself.
Exactly. It's a violation of divine sovereignty. Dr. Saab used an analogy. He said it's like an employee trying to sell their master's name or reputation for personal gain.
It's unthinkable, right?
Yeah, completely out of line. It's using something sacred that you have no right over.
And that directly explains the consequence Dr. Saab pointed out. Allah says, he will rub out or yamhaq riba. Now, yamhaq isn't just about losing the profit. It means destroying the blessing in it, the root of it, any lasting benefit. It's a complete nullification.
So it's a spiritual erasure, not just a financial loss. Correct. And Dr. Saab said this fundamental misunderstanding, missing the spiritual essence of why it's forbidden, is the reason we see these endless legal debates. Like scholars arguing back and forth. Is only giving riba forbidden, or is taking it okay? They're stuck on the mechanics, the surface level.
They're missing the core issue of violating divine ownership.
Precisely. They haven't grasped that riba fundamentally challenges who owns time itself.
That whole error focusing on the external rules, the legal shell, while totally ignoring the internal spiritual requirement, Dr. Saab pointed out that's a recurring theme, isn't it?
It is.
He immediately connected it to other commands, like Gaz Basar, keeping your eyes cast down. It's a clear do command in the Quran, focused on internal modesty, internal restraint. But what does society often do?
Yeah, focus on the outside.
Focuses on external things, like debates about specific types of clothing, the shuttlecock burqas example he sometimes uses, while completely missing the actual point, the spirit of self-control.
That's a perfect example. And that failure, that tendency to ignore personal spiritual conduct and internal control, well, it naturally leads to problems in society. Which brings us right to our next topic, interference. Mashremein dahalan dazi kasat, the effects of meddling in society.
It seems like a natural progression. If you feel you have the authority to, say, sell God's time through riba, it's a small step to assuming you have the authority to interfere in other people's lives, their autonomy.
Exactly. Dr. Saab was very clear on this. He said interference mudakalat is the single biggest cause of conflict. A
Yeah.
facade. And this isn't just, big political conflicts. It's at every level, between two people, within families, communities, right up to nations. Interference is the root.
So what's the driving force behind it? Why do people interfere? What fundamental motive did Dr. Saab identify?
It always boils down to one thing, he said: self-interest or perceived benefit, mafarat or fida.
Mm.
People insert themselves into others' affairs because deep down they think they'll gain something from it. Control, information, status, maybe even just the feeling of being right.
That makes sense. It's always about me somehow.
Always. And Dr. Saab said the spiritual approach, what he called the Faqeeri, the mindset of detachment of the spiritual seeker, is specifically designed to dismantle this urge to interfere. It's actually quite simple in practice, though maybe not easy. 2 steps. First, make a conscious effort not to interfere in anyone else's business, period. Second, if someone interferes in your affairs, respond politely with salam alaikum, acknowledge them, but then just withdraw. Don't get drawn into an argument. Don't feed the conflict.
Wow. It's so simple, but takes real discipline. Just disengage, salam alaikum, and walk away internally, if not physically.
Exactly. You refuse to participate in the facade they're trying to create.
And the ultimate check on this behavior, the thing that really grounds us, was that powerful, simple reminder Dr. Saab offered. He said, just remember, I have to enter my own grave.
Yes, that hits hard.
It immediately brings your focus back to your accountability, your own deeds, your own spiritual state. If you're genuinely focused on fixing your own ledger, your own relationship with the Creator, you simply don't have the time or the energy or, frankly, the authority to go around policing everyone else.
You've got your own work to do. And Dr. Saab rooted this directly in the Quran. He mentioned the principle, la ikraha fi din. Now, usually that's translated as no compulsion in religion. But Dr. Saab offered a slightly different nuance, didn't he?
Yeah, he said it means something more like no nagging in the system. Don't constantly poke and prod at others about their affairs.
Exactly. And he added, you haven't been appointed as a daruga over anyone, a watchdog, a policeman. That's not your role.
Right.
Once you truly internalize that you lack that official divine mandate to oversee others, the desire to interfere it kind of dissolves. You realize it's not your place.
Okay, so non-interference, focusing on your own grave, understanding you're not a watchdog. If we take this idea of individual accountability and non-interference and scale it up, like way up.
To the cosmic level.
Yeah, exactly. We arrive at the structure of the universe itself. Kainat ko wahidnism, the singular system of the universe. Dr. Saab presented this absolutely mind-blowing picture of creation scale, and he explained how this vast, unified order actually reinforces our need to focus personally inwardly.
Oh, it's staggering. He described this cosmic administration, this hierarchy.
Yeah.
It really stretches the imagination. He mentioned, for instance, that one Kitabul Mubin, you can think of it like a foundational master record or blueprint.
Okay.
Contains something like 300 million major programs. He called them Lohi Mahfuz, like individual cosmic plans.
300 million, just from one master book.
Just one. And then each of those programs, each Lohi Mav, governs an almost uncountable number of what he called Hazar. These are like zones where information manifests, almost like galaxies. He said 80,000 per program.
Okay, the numbers are getting astronomical very quickly.
They really are.
Yeah.
And within just one Hazra, one galaxy-like zone, Dr. Saab stated there are around 100 billion inhabited stable systems, think solar systems like ours, plus another 1,200 billion temporary uninhabited systems.
Galaxy?
They were galaxy equivalent. Dr. Saab noted these details are actually mentioned right at the start of the book, Kalendar Shar. It's documented.
It's almost impossible to truly visualize that scale, but the core point seems to be, despite this unimaginable vastness, it's all part of one system, a singular system.
Precisely. That's the key.
Yeah.
Wahid Nizam, singular system. And Dr. Saab used a brilliant analogy to make it graspable. He compared the entire cosmos to a single television program being broadcast from one central station. One main program, maybe like a central server.
Okay, like a universal broadcast.
Exactly. And all the countless planets, the world, the Zaminin as he called them, they're simply the TV screens receiving that broadcast.
I see. So the diversity comes from the screens themselves.
Right. You have different types of screens, don't you? LCDs, OLEDs, 3D screens. Dr. Saab mentioned some worlds might be transparent, some silvery, some golden in composition. They display the same core program, but their makeup makes it look different.
Okay, that makes the variety understandable within a single system. But there's a crucial difference, isn't there, between us and characters on a TV screen?
Yes, and Dr. Saab highlighted this critical distinction. Unlike characters in a pre-recorded show, the beings living on these countless celestial screens, including us, have a degree of freedom. Marzian, he called it. Choices, free will.
And it's that freedom, our choices, that cause the deviation, the static, the divergence from the original perfect broadcast signal.
That's exactly the idea. Our free will introduces variations, errors, departures from the main program's intended path.
So how does anyone even know about these other worlds, this vast system? It's not like we can see them through telescopes. What was Dr. Saab's explanation for accessing this knowledge?
Through Roohaniyat, spirituality, inner exploration. He explained that the connection, think of it like a spiritual microchip, linking us to that main program, that main server, it's already placed inside each one of us.
Inside, not outside.
Inside, deep within. So the method isn't external observation, it's descending within yourself, going into your batan or your inner dimension.
Okay.
By doing that, Dr. Saab said, you bypass the limitations of physical senses and external tools.
Yeah.
You connect directly to the source, to the main server, which is essentially Allah's knowledge, his hafiz, the cosmic records, the lo'i mahfuz. That journey inward is Roohaniyat.
So spirituality is the direct line, while science is indirect.
That's how Dr. Saab framed it. He quoted his Murshad, Khawaja Shamsuddin Azeemi, who, interestingly, referred to scientists respectfully as Hukma Rabbani, like divine sages in a way.
Acknowledging their pursuit of knowledge.
Yes, but Dr. Saab pointed out their method is often limited, even flawed from a spiritual perspective. They primarily rely on courage, external, indirect observation, instruments, measurements, looking out.
Instead of looking in.
Right. Dr. Saab insisted the true, the more efficient, the more complete path to understanding reality is through batan, inner observation, accessing that chip inside.
It paints a picture of why guidance was needed then. If the program is simple, but our free will causes deviation.
Exactly. Dr. Saab made that connection explicit. He observed that the reason some 1.24 million prophets and Anbiya Ikram were sent throughout history
A huge number.
was because human society, using its free will, derailed from the main program roughly 1.24 million times. Each time, a messenger came to try and reconnect humanity to the Creator's original, simple program. That basic list of do's and don'ts designed for our success.
Realigning us with the broadcast.
Trying to, yes. And speaking of human deviations and difficulties, that leads us into another very relatable area Dr. Saab discussed. How we deal with, well, difficult people. Specifically, ungrateful people. Esan faramarsh logan karawaya.
Ah, yes, the thankless. We've all been there, done a kindness, and received nothing, maybe even negativity back. What was Dr. Saab's advice? It was very direct, wasn't it?
Brutally simple, almost one word. Ignore.
Ignore them. Just the complete.
That was the immediate practical advice for protecting yourself. Yes, just ignore the ingratitude.
Yeah.
Don't let it occupy your mind or heart.
But he went deeper than just ignoring, didn't he? He analyzed the root cause.
He did. And this is where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit uncomfortable for us. Dr. Saab said the ultimate fault doesn't actually lie with the ungrateful person.
Not with them, then with who?
With us.
Yeah.
Specifically with our expectation.
Tawako. Our expectation. Explain that.
He said, if you perform an act of kindness, an ihsan, but you do it with an underlying expectation of something in return, could be gratitude, praise, reciprocity, anything,
Okay.
then very often Allah himself will deliberately break that expectation. She'll allow the ingratitude to happen specifically to teach you a lesson about where your expectations should truly lie.
Wow. So the ingratitude is actually a spiritual corrective measure aimed at me, the giver.
In many cases, yes, because, think about it, placing expectations for reward or validation on created beings, doesn't that violate the very essence of our core belief?
The kalma. La ilaha illallah. No God but Allah. Meaning, no one is worthy of worship or ultimate reliance or expectation except him.
Exactly. He is the only true Hajat Rawa, the only one who fulfills needs. When you expect from others, you're subtly setting them up as partners in providing what only Allah guarantees. So Allah breaks that misplaced expectation to purify your reliance on Him alone.
That completely reframes the situation. It's not about their bad manners, it's about my misplaced spiritual focus.
Precisely. And Dr. Sabi even redefined the word ihsan itself to reinforce this. He said ihsan doesn't just mean kindness or favor in the sense of making someone indebted to you. Its deeper meaning is about performing any task, any deed, to the utmost degree of beauty. Dorje Hussein.
Degree of beauty.
Yes, doing something so well, so perfectly, so sincerely for Allah's sake, that the beauty of the deed itself shines through. The act becomes its own reward. Its beauty is its completion. It's not about getting a thank you card later.
So true ihsan is done for the sake of the act's beauty, and for Allah, not for the recipient's reaction.
Exactly. The focus shifts entirely from the external outcome to the internal quality and intention.
Okay. This connects to the final, maybe the most empowering point Dr. Saab made about dealing with difficult interactions. He talked about a handling skill, a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He said something like, I am not supposed to give anyone any chance to misbehave with me. What did he mean by that? If someone is rude, isn't that on them?
Not entirely, according to Dr. Saab's perspective. His argument was, if someone is rude or ungrateful or misbehaves towards you, it means that somehow, perhaps unconsciously, you created the opening. You
Yeah.
gave them the opportunity.
How would I give them that chance?
Maybe through that misplaced expectation we just talked about. Or perhaps by engaging with them on their level, getting drawn into negativity, or maybe revealing a vulnerability they could exploit. Dr. Saab's principle is rooted in self-mastery. The focus must always be on self-correction. Why? Because, as he often emphasized, the inner world controls the outer world. If your inner state is balanced, detached, and focused correctly on Allah, external negativity finds less purchase. It can't hook you as easily.
So the hunter, the skill, is constant self-monitoring and self-correction to ensure I am not creating the conditions for others to misbehave towards me.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility for your side of the interaction, maintaining your own spiritual equilibrium, regardless of how others act.
That's a profound level of personal responsibility.
It is. And it leads us perfectly into our final concept for today, which is really about the mechanism behind how we grasp all these ideas, how we understand reality itself, the concept of idrak, perception or comprehension.
Idrak, okay. We use words like understanding or comprehension all the time. But Dr. Saab discussed Idrak as having a specific spiritual dimension, right? It's more than just cognitive processing.
Much more. Yes, fundamentally, idrak means comprehension, grasping something, duraklanya, as you might say, getting it.
Yeah.
But Dr. Saab made a crucial point. Idrak, true comprehension, isn't really a human property or invention. We don't generate it ourselves.
We don't. Then what is it?
He said it's actually a manifestation, a reflection of one of Allah's own attributes. Specifically, his attribute of being al-muhit, the encompassing, the all-aware, the one who grasps everything.
So our ability to understand is a reflection of Allah's encompassing knowledge.
Exactly. Think of our self, our nukazatit, as Dr. Saab might call it. It possesses reflections like little mirrors, acts of various divine attributes. So our ability to see is an ax, a reflection of Allah's attribute of sight, sifat basir. Our ability to hear reflects his hearing, sifat sami. And our ability to understand, to comprehend, idrak, is an ax of his encompassing knowledge, sifat muhit.
Wow, okay. So even our basic sabbathis are reflections of the divine. But there must be limits, right? Our reflection can't be the same as the source.
Absolutely. And Dr. Saab highlighted this limitation using a specific verse from the Quran, La tadrukul absara.
Which means?
No eye, or more broadly, no vision or perception can grasp him or comprehend him. Tadruk comes from the same root as idrak.
So our comprehension, being just a limited reflection, cannot possibly encompass the source, Allah himself.
Precisely. And why not? Dr. Saab gave the simple, profound reason. Allah is boundless, lamastud, infinite. Our capacity, being finite and limited, cannot by definition grasp or encompass the boundless infinity. It's a fundamental impossibility.
Okay, that makes sense. Our little mirror can't reflect the entire sun.
A good way to put it. But Dr. Saab didn't leave us there with just our limitation. He immediately gave the other side of the equation, the comforting part, also from the Quran. Wa huwa yudrikul absara.
And he grasps the vision?
And he grasps or comprehends the vision sights, meaning, while we cannot fully comprehend him, he fully comprehends us. He understands our perception, our limited sight, our consciousness, everything.
So there's a reciprocity, but it's asymmetrical. We can't grasp him, but he grasps us.
Exactly. He understands us completely, and he reveals himself, his knowledge, his reality, only as much as he wills and as much as our limited capacity can handle.
Okay, so if idrak is this reflected divine attribute of comprehension, how does it actually function within our minds? Where does it fit in with thinking and memory? Did Dr. Saab elaborate on the mechanics?
Yes, he did. He sort of broke down the components of the mind, the Zen, as he described it. The Zen itself is the overall processor, the mental faculty as a whole. Within that, you have fikr, that's the active processing part, thinking, contemplating, analyzing.
Okay, thinking is fikr.
Then you have hafisa, that's the memory, the storage, the record-keeping function. Dr. Saab likened our personal hafisa to being like a human equivalent of the cosmic lo'i mahfuz. He sometimes called it the kitabul markum.
The written record. inside us.
Yes, the personal record written within our own consciousness, our memory.
So where does idrak come in?
Idrak is the crucial component that does the actual understanding or comprehension. It's what takes the raw data processed by Faqeeri and turns it into meaningful information that can then be properly stored and integrated into the hafiz of the memory record.
Ah, so idrak is like the save button, but it only saves what it truly understands. Comprehension is what creates the actual memory trace.
That's a very good way to think about it. Without idrak, without that moment of grasping, of comprehension, the information doesn't really stick. It doesn't become part of your recorded knowledge in hafiza. Understanding forms the record.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together now. Riba as violating the ownership of time, the vast singular universe demanding inner focus, non-interference stemming from knowing our own accountability, ignoring ingratitude by managing our expectations, and understanding perception itself as a divine reflection. If we synthesize all of that, what's the big takeaway Dr. Saab wanted us to get?
I think it all distills down to one core message. Focus on your own actions, your own internal state, your adherence to the simple do's and don'ts given by the Creator. That inner transformation, that personal accountability, that is the true measure of success.
And success itself. Dr. Saab had a specific take on Fawzul Azeem, didn't he? Often translated as the great victory or supreme success.
Yes, he offered a very practical clarification. He said it's less about some grand abstract victory and more about simply getting the job done.
Getting the job done.
Yeah, the job being living according to the divine guidance, managing your inner self, fulfilling your responsibilities, adhering to that original simple program. When you do that job correctly, that is Fawzul Azeem. That leads to genuine, lasting success both here and hereafter.
So resist the urge to complicate things, resist grabbing false authority, whether it's trying to sell time like in Riba or trying to police others through interference.
Exactly. Keep it simple, focus inward, do your job. That seems to be the essence of Dr. Saab's guidance across all these topics. Master your inner world, and the outer world takes care of itself, or at least its impact on you is managed.
Profound insights, truly. It gives you a lot to think about, a lot to work on internally. Okay, well, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive. Thank you very much to all listeners for taking the time today. We really hope you found this discussion valuable. We are confident that this deep dive covering Dr. Saab's insights on Riba, interference, the cosmos, handling ingratitude, and the nature of perception will prove beneficial for you in your own spiritual journey. If these ideas resonated, if you found some clarity here, kindly forward this deep dive to your friends, especially those who frequently ask about spirituality and the silsila azimia. Your sharing really helps YouTube's algorithm to automatically spread this knowledge to more people who might be seeking it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and do hit that like button if you found this beneficial. It helps the channel. Many prayers for you as well, for your understanding and your progress. Allah